Okay, guys, so this is a review for Game Week 6, and as you can see, the points for Game Week 5 were 60 points, and we'll just start by reviewing how all of the players played. So, as you can see, Adrian had 2 points, Rico played well because Bournemouth managed to win their last game. Virgil van Dijk also had some points, even though they didn't have a clean sheet, so that was a problem. Landstrom from Sheffield United has been performing well in the past weeks, but I think it's time to let him go. Then when we go to the midfield, we find that since Pep Guardiola decided to use debryne from the bench because of the UEFA Champions League, it hurt the midfield a bit because when he came back on, he did not have such an impact like he usually does when he starts the game. Even though I captained Sterling, I think he didn't really perform according to the way I wanted him to perform because, as we all know, Norwich managed to beat Man City. So the only people that managed to make some serious points were the front line. Tammy Abraham managed to get a hat-trick. Sergio Aguero was the vice-captain and he's been scoring. I think he's the only forward that has scored in every game he's played this season. So if I were you, I wouldn't let go of Aguero or Tammy Abraham. Timo Pukki scored and assisted, so I think he hasn't yet burnt out, so he's still on fire. So that's for game week 5. Now, let us look at the fixtures for game week 6 and see how these guys might perform. So, as we are scrolling here, so as you can see, the fixture starts on Friday. There's Southampton versus Bournemouth. I think Southampton's defenders might be able to fend off some of the attacks from Bournemouth because Vestergaard, the longest EPL defender, is actually having a pretty decent season. So I think I'm going to decide to put one of their defenders in this fixture. Then if you have any players like the likes of Wilson from Bournemouth, I think you might fancy scoring from this sort of fixture because it looks like a tight fixture. Leicester versus Tottenham on Saturday will be an early kickoff. This is a London derby, so this by no means makes it an easy game for Tottenham. Even though Leicester's Jamie Vardy has been firing in all fronts, I think he's been the highest scoring forward since Brendan Rodgers took forward. This might be a tough one for him because I think Tottenham's key players have started showing up to the game now. The likes of Son Heung-min, the likes of Harry Kane, Eriksen, and we still expect more to come. So this, for me, I think I would not take any players from this game because maybe the forwards. But other than that, I wouldn't take any players. Burnley versus Norwich, I think Timo Pukki has been scoring, so I'm going to keep Pukki in my team. He's been demolishing really strong forwards. Burnley are not an easy side when they're playing their home fixture, so they should be able to do some damage in this game. So this is why this will be a strong game, but it will be a good one for the likes of Timo Pukki because such defenses are the ones that he was facing every weekend in the championship. So I think him and Cantwell will thrive in this game. For those that have Harvey Barnes, he seems to be scoring on his home games, so this might be one of his games as well. Everton and Sheffield United. I think that Richarlison might be able to fancy himself here. The rest that might be threats might be Gylfi Sigurdsson, Alex Iwobi, the likes of Bernard or Luca Dean. I think the real threats here that you can pick if you have any Everton players are Luca Dean and Richarlison. Those have been on fire since the start of the Premier League. So, going to Man City. If you have any Man City players, do not get rid of them, because I tell you that after the way they performed against Norwich last week, they will make sure that they hammer Watford. So I'm looking maybe even a clean sheet here against Watford. So the likes of debryne, Aguero, and Sterling will probably be hot red for this one. Even those that have budget midfielders like David Silva, I think can get in on the act. Bernardo Silva or others. Moving on, I think Newcastle and Brighton or Albion won't pick any players from these two. I think they are too inconsistent for my liking, so I really can't gamble with them. So I'll move on to the next games, which are on Sunday. Palace started well. Up until game week 4, they were located 4th on the table for the first time in their English Premier League history. Even though Wolves are playing in the Europa League, I think it's taking a strain on the way they should be playing in the Premier League, because most of the strikers, I think, are coming out burned out. The likes of Raul Jimenez haven't yet started reaching the heights that they were reaching last season. So from this one, I still don't have anyone. Maybe Dendonka is a player that I kept, but for those that have Raul Jimenez, I wouldn't throw him just yet. Or Diego Jota, I think they're still decent strikers, and the fact that Raul Jimenez has started scoring might mean that he might be on the rise, because even these other midfielders like Ruben Neves might be good budget picks. West Ham versus United. I think West Ham might upset Man U, but I think even though Man United have now got a grip on their game, they should be able to they'll limp past West Ham. West Ham might give them a really stubborn game because of the likes of their new signing, Sebastian Haller, the one they got from the German league. He looks to be firing. This is a striker that they've needed in a lot of years, and they finally got him. So I think Pellegrini really did a number on everyone on this one. So if I were West Ham United, I'd try to take the game to United, because they'll probably come out swinging as well, but it will be an open game. That's the beauty about it. So if you want to pick any players from these two sides, I'd say maybe pick Sebastian Haller from West Ham, and maybe from United, maybe Rashford or Wan-Bissaka or Pogba. Moving on to the last two games, I really don't have any players from Arsenal right now apart from Guendouzi, who has started really well this season. Contrary to the way he played last season, he was really making some really bad errors. But if I didn't have any other attackers, I would have picked Aubameyang, because he's also been consistent throughout the season so far. But since my strikers are already set, I only have Guendouzi from Arsenal. Then coming on to the Super Sunday big game of the day, Chelsea versus Liverpool. I think even though Chelsea are playing the they are the home side, they would want to get revenge from the way they lost in the Super Cup, in the UEFA Super Cup a couple of weeks ago. I think this is always a tight fixture, and you never know who's going to win, regardless of the form of the two sides. So if you have any players from these two teams, I'd encourage you to keep them. But if you have other options, maybe the likes of Mason Mount might not have it easy this time, but I'm willing to put my money on Tammy Abraham because he's been proving himself. Then for Liverpool, I have Adrian, and I'll keep Mo Salah. And I think he might do the damage because he was the difference last season and the other season. So I think he's got a knack for creating problems for Chelsea. Okay, so that's what I think about the coming fixture. So let's just see how my team will line up now for this coming game week. Alright, so guys, this is the team that I will use for the coming game week. As you can see, I've got Odegaard, is a very trustworthy defender, very dependable, if you will. Vestergaard, like I said, from Southampton, because they're playing Bournemouth. Guendouzi, and I maintain my midfield trio. Then I also maintain my front three because I think they still have a lot to offer. So that was the video for Game Week 6. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for other tips. Bye.